Welcome in TNC Radio.live. We're live on a Wednesday night. You're listening to you're listening to Taillights with the Baums, Larry and Angie Bond.
Oh my goodness, that was funny. Hello everybody, welcome back. I'm Angie.
I'm Larry. How you guys doing this evening?
So tonight we've got a really great show for you guys. We've got 4 guests with us tonight, the most we've ever had. We have got Charles, Jason, Matt, and Connie. They are part of a new organization that just recently formed called NADRA. And we're going to talk to them a little bit about what exactly this program is, their mission statement, their initiative. But before we get started on that, we kind of want to introduce everybody. So if it's okay, Charles, I thought we'd start with you, and then Jason and Matt and Connie, if you guys all want to kind of do like a 1-minute introduction and kind of let everybody know who you are.
All right. Well, my name is Charles Claiborne. I'm 54 years old. I've been a truck driver, both for a company and an owner-operator for 32 years. And I was asked to serve as the president of the North American Driver Resource Association. And I'm happy to be here tonight and talk a little bit about what it is we're doing.
Awesome. Thank you so much, Charles. Jason, you want to go and introduce yourself?
Yes, my name is Jason Vind. I'm 57 years old. I'm from Minnesota. I started driving truck in 1992 after I got done serving in the United States Navy for 9 years. I've been at it ever since. I've owned my own company. I did 5 years hauling entertainment for the biggest rock stars in the world. Trucking, I grew up as a son of a trucker. It's been in my life since as long as I can remember. My grandma drove a milk truck. It's just who we are. It was what my family was all about. And just through social media, I met Matt and Charles, and they just asked me to come on board this organization and try to find our place. So it's an honor to be here, and thank you for having me.
Okay, can I just say that was so awesome that your grandma drove a milk truck? That's so cool.
My grandma drove a milk truck in 3-inch high heels. She had a episode when she was just a little girl that affected the arches in her feet. And so she was forced to wear 3-inch high heels for the rest of her life, and she did everything in 3-inch high heels. She couldn't wear any other kind of shoe. So yeah, that was pretty amazing.
That's very impressive.
That is really impressive. Okay, Matt, we want to make sure we welcome you. You want to let everybody know a little bit about you?
I'm 48 years old. I come from a long generation of truck drivers. My grandfather actually started off driving a dump truck way back when. My father was into cattle. My stepfather was a truck driver in Vietnam who also came over here and drove refrigerated and dry freight. I've been in it for 25 years plus now. I remember getting into a truck with my father when I was 15 years old. Of course, I was 6.5 feet tall, so he took full advantage of that. I've been a company driver, currently an owner-operator for the last 3 years. I see a need for a new organization for truck drivers, about truck drivers, and built by truck drivers. And the reason being is we really don't have a voice out here. We don't have a lot of organizations where we have boots on the ground. So our organization there's no CEOs or VIPs. These are all boots on the ground, men and women who are out here every day with our brothers and sisters. And that's why we're doing what we're doing. We're fighting for them as well as fighting for ourselves.
That's awesome. And the way we came across you guys was actually my husband, Larry. He was actually following you guys. I've known Jason for a while. I followed him for a while, but I didn't know Charles or Matt. And so I was glad that my husband introduced me to you guys. And so we're really glad. Connie, I'm sorry, I want to give you a chance also. I know that you're one of the members of this organization also. So you want to introduce yourself?
Yeah, hi, my name is Connie Chavez, and I've been driving for 30 years. I've done everything from owner-operator to company, heavy haul and all that. And I pretty much begged to be on this round table because I think there's a need for, somebody, well, the organization. Sorry, my husband's texting me.
You're fine. You're fine.
I gotta go. But it's been a pleasure, and you've got Matt and Charles and Jason. They can help you.
Absolutely.
Thank you for having me.
You're welcome.
So much, Connie.
All right, come back on if you can.
Bye.
Okay, so I did kind of want to go over a little bit. So I know that, one of the things that, let's speak honest. I know a lot of truckers, they're going to kind of, let's be honest about it, a new organization representing truckers. And there's going to be a lot of people that are going to stick their nose up and go, oh, God, we've seen what's happened over the last couple of years. So I don't know who wants to take this, but who wants to handle like how you guys set yourself apart from the other organizations that have been put together over the last few years?
I would say,
Go ahead, Charles.
I would say it's pretty obvious from the start. Matt touched on the fact that there really isn't an organization out here that has actual truck drivers with boots on the ground, talking to other drivers, trying to unite other drivers. This is the first organization that has been as diversified by drivers. Okay. Every member on the council on the roundtable has a voice, and we have drivers from every religion. We have drivers of every race. We have company drivers from mega fleets. We have prime drivers, Crete drivers, Warner drivers. We have owner operators. We have husband and wife teams. We have Sikh drivers. We have Canadian truck drivers. After all, we're North American. What we're trying to build here is North America. So we have diversified. In the past, you know what's happened, to be honest with you? A lot of times you get a group of angry men who decide something needs to happen, and it's a small group of people. And the inclusiveness that should have always been there, I think the reason it's being met with such open arms, and the reason people are reaching out and they want to be part of it, is there is inclusivity. Okay. It doesn't matter who you drive for, what you drive, what color your skin is, what your religion is, what kind of truck you drive. It's about truck drivers, right? Because we're all truck drivers. That's the most important thing. We're all overregulated. We're all suffering the same fate right now. So to have that type of camaraderie, unity is key. I was listening to the other show, eavesdropping, while I was on hold there, and unity is the one thing that's always been lacking to be able to have a clear message. And I think the message that Matt and Jason originally put out there is unity, inclusivity, transparency, and accountability. Is this organization going to be perfect? We're in an infancy stage, right? Matt and Jason and the organization. Will there be bumps in the road along the way? Yes, there will be. But you know what's important? Accountability. Owning your mistakes, moving forward from your mistakes, and always remembering you're accountable to the members and the people that are in this organization, the people that follow us. And I think those two gentlemen, Matt and Jason, have accomplished an amazing feat. And the members, the 41 people that sit on the council at the moment, they've done a tremendous job in unifying drivers across every social media. TikTok, Facebook, Instagram. And I think it's starting to scare some people because, like you said, there is an apprehension when people say, "Oh my God, another trucking group."
Yes.
Well, not really, because from what I just explained to you, have you ever seen a group structured that way, or a group that's been set up the way this one was, or the members? You never have. Neither have I. So I'm going to give credit where credit is due to the council, to Jason and Matt, and I want them to speak a little bit about it. But they have done a phenomenal job.
Absolutely. And I do want to mention, and I'm going to give you guys a chance also, because I want you guys to promote your TikTok accounts too, and we'll do that later on the show. But I do want to let everybody know that if you're interested in learning more about this organization, because we're getting ready to go to commercial break, you can find them. It's NADRA on Facebook, also on Twitter. And if you type it into TikTok, you're going to see all of their videos come in. But we're going to take just a quick commercial break. And when we come back, We will be talking with Charles, Matt, and James more on their organization. So stay tuned with Taillights with the Baums.
This infoblog on tncradio.live is brought to you by the Truckers Network at app.thetruckersnetwork.net. 6 things to consider before starting your career in trucking. Truck drivers are often referred to as the backbone of America. They haul roughly 70% of America's freight. Nearly every good consumed in the United States has been shipped by a truck. Right now, the demand for truck drivers is higher than ever. The growing truck driver shortage in America is a topic of concern and has been for the past 4 years. The United States is in dire need of people to start driving trucks. Are you considering becoming a truck driver, but not quite sure if it's the career path for you? Here are 6 things potential truck drivers need to know before starting their career in the trucking industry. Know your why. Why do I want to become a truck driver? Is one of the first questions you should ask yourself before starting your career in trucking. Knowing and understanding your why is important so that you make sure that trucking is something you'll enjoy. Nothing is more draining than working in a career field that you're not passionate about and excited about. Truck drivers are already more likely to struggle with mental health problems because of the trucking lifestyle. So to avoid dreading your trucking career, ask yourself, why do I want to be a truck driver? Long work hours. It's obvious that truck drivers spend a majority of their workday in the driver's seat, but many new drivers don't realize how hard it can be sitting for long periods. Drivers spend hours upon hours sitting down. This can result in leg, back, and neck pain. If you're the type of person who cannot handle sitting down for several hours at a time, then truck driving's not for you. Another thing to consider is how long a typical workday is for a truck driver. Drivers are legally allowed to work 14 hours a day, but are limited to 11 hours of driving time. They must take a mandatory 30-minute break by the 8th hour of duty. Following the long workday, drivers must have 10 hours of off-duty time. In a work week, drivers cannot exceed more than 60 hours of work or 70 hours over 8 days. Failure to follow these HOS rules can result in being shut down, fines, and lower carrier safety ratings. A new lifestyle. There's not a career quite like trucking. It's nothing like your typical 9-to-5 Monday through Friday job. It's long hours, days, and most times weeks away from home. Truck drivers often experience loneliness, depression, and anxiety. If you're someone who's used to working with many people, then truck driving will be a shock. Drivers will go days or weeks without seeing their loved ones, and it can really take a toll on truckers, especially those who are new. Adjusting to this lifestyle can be challenging at first, but once you do, you can live a rewarding life as a truck driver. Getting seat time. The more experience you have as a truck driver, the better. With more experience, you'll land better truck driving jobs and better pay. According to the Bureau of Labor Statistics, truck drivers earn an average of over $40,000 a year. Yet, many trucking companies advertise higher rates of pay for experienced drivers. Over time, you can negotiate a higher rate per mile. Your relationships will suffer. It doesn't matter if you're on the road or at home. Make time for family. Make it a priority to talk to someone in your family once a day. It can be tough for truckers, especially long-haul truck drivers, to maintain relationships with their families due to the trucking lifestyle. Keeping in contact with your loved ones will help life on the road be less lonely. Lack of sleep. Getting the recommended amount of sleep each night is a rare thing for truckers. Although sleep may be difficult for truckers because of the uncomfortable way of living, it's essential to their well-being and safety. Make it a priority to get good sleep and make a sleep schedule. Set an alarm for a certain time and turn off all electronics and get your much-needed sleep. Not getting enough sleep makes life on the road miserable. Although there may seem like many downsides, truck driving can be a very rewarding and exciting career. As a truck driver, you have freedom on the open road and a chance to see America's most beautiful places. For information on trucking, be sure to check out the Truckers Network at app.thetruckersnetwork.net. TNCradio.live, your commercial driver navigation station. Join Tom Kelly and the rest of the team each day on the morning grind. Then stay tuned for an encore presentation of last night's Landline Now. Weekdays on TNCRadio.live.
Welcome back. You guys are listening to Taillights with the Baums. I am your host, Keith.
And I'm Larry. Welcome back.
Tonight, we've been talking with three of our special guests tonight. They are members of the NADRA, which is a newly formed organization. And one of the things when I was talking with Charles earlier that kind of stood out to me, it was actually two things that he mentioned that really kind of resonated with me, especially as a truck driver, was actually there was three things, but here we go. So the first one he said is that he's looking for the trucking industry to have a united with one voice. The other thing he said is that he knows that the work that they're going to be doing with the NADRA is that it's hard work and it's a marathon. It's not going to be a quick fix, which I think a lot of us, when we've seen some of these other organizations that wanted to protest or set up things, they weren't set up well. They didn't have a good structure. And I don't think they were clear on what they wanted to do as far as changes. Charles, one of the questions I had for you, if you don't mind, is we've seen some of the other organizations where there was mishandling of money. Are you asking for donations for people, or how is the money situation with this organization going to be handled?
I think that's been a group thing, and Jason has thoughts on it. Matt has thoughts on it. And, and Jason can feel free to jump in here, but yes. We haven't asked anybody for a dime. We're trying to let the council fund this their way. If we've got to put money in for flyers or whatever, we'll take it to the council. It's hard out there right now for a lot of people. Down the road, we may have to, ask for a donation to pay for a specific item. We want to get a billboard, or we want to fund our some of the projects we're working on for community outreach. But we're not asking anybody for a dime at this moment. We want to prove ourselves. Jason, jump in there and feel free to talk about it.
Yeah, one of the things that is always a very touchy subject is money. And so one of our four cornerstones that we built this organization on is accountability and transparency. And once we get the infrastructure built, the website and everything to where it's a point and click operation for us and very easy for outsiders to navigate their way through, one of the things that we're very, very picky about is that when you become a full-fledged member of our organization, you'll be having access to privileged information within the site, which will automatically be our bank account. And you'll know exactly how much money the organization has. You'll know exactly how much money we're spending, because we're going to post the monthly statements at the end of the month, every month. And we will have a secretary or a treasurer that will be the only ones that are accountable for the disbursement of those funds. And all of these will be done by outside organizations, so that the people that join our organization will understand that nobody here is lining their pockets. Nobody whatsoever. And I think if we build trust, accountability, and transparency, if we need to spend $5,000 in Washington, D.C. to take something to court, it will be warranted and justified. As long as nobody's building new houses and driving new cars and that whole situation, I believe the faith back of the American driver. This is their organization. This thing could explode to be as big as a viral video overnight, or it could stay as small as anything. The potential is unlimited here. And the more members and the more sponsorship and the more interactive the trucking community comes with this organization, the largest this thing could grow. But the sky is the limit here. And once we become a functioning organization via infrastructure and internally, then we'll sit down with the board and we'll decide what the price point would be for a fair. What it costs you, $49 a month or $49 a year to be an OIDA member or something like that. I think that if we're in the balance of what our competitors are in, I think that will be fair, and we just have to offer services. We're looking into so many other things, but we're all truck drivers out here, and we know what the industry needs. I don't believe Washington knows what the industry needs. I believe that Washington is doing things because they feel they need to do things, but they're not doing the right things.
I agree. And I tell you what, one of the things we love the most when we were talking with you, Jason, a couple of weeks ago was the fact that the first thing you said was that, you know, we want to be transparent and upfront with all of our members and anybody that's joining. And I think after everything we've seen over the last 3 years, that's the most important thing. Now, before I talk to you, Matt, I just want to remind everybody that you guys can find them on Facebook. It's NADRA, also on Twitter. Also, if you go to TikTok and type that into the search bar, you're going to find all of their videos so that you can get more information on what they're doing. Matt, I want to talk to you a little bit. Can you tell us a little bit how you, Charles, and Jason kind of got together and decided we need to do this?
Here's a conversation for you. Jason actually posted a video. I've been standing up for truckers for a long time, quietly in the background, and Jason had posted a video. And I can't remember all of it at this point. We'd have to go all the way back to about a month and a half ago. But about the truckers coming together, and he had mentioned the word union. And union in my mouth, you might as well just took cayenne pepper and dumped it in that full bore. And I was spitting that word out, and I made a comment on his video, which, you know, anybody knows on TikTok, you're only allowed a certain amount of characters, so you're not allowed to explain yourself unless you do 15 comments.
Right.
But I only left one that, kind of along the lines of union. We know kind of what the unions are all about, and how they treat people, and that's the last thing we need in trucking. And Jason took that comment and did a reply back to it. Well, when he replied back to it, I'm sitting there going, wow, I can go just two different ways with this. I can really take offense to it, or, well, my response was, I've got to talk to this guy. I just need to get a one-on-one with him because he didn't understand what I was trying to say. And I think Jason, with my comment, kind of took it as harsh on his side. Well, I think, what was it, Jason, a day later, maybe?
Yeah, something like that.
Yeah, it was something like a day later. We finally got in contact. We exchanged numbers. And our first time talking, I bet you we were on the phone an hour to 2 hours. And we come to realize that, set aside the comments and the video, our thinking was so on track and so in sync that it was actually a little scary when I started talking to him. And we're sitting there going, okay. And we just carried on conversation for the next couple of days before we realized, we really got something here. We started seeing a foundation laying out in front of us and a design. And when we started talking more and more, we realized that if we did this, we would have to go a route that nobody has ever gone before. If you look at most organizations, they're a pyramid form. There's the very tip of the pyramid and the very bottom of the pyramid. What goes from the bottom goes up to the top, gets sent back down to the bottom, gets lost somewhere in the middle. And we realize that nothing gets done that way. It's a stall on time. It's a stall on energy. And one of the things that came to my mind, and I brought up to Jason, and we both agreed almost immediately that that's how we had to do things, was an old legend of King Arthur and the Round Table, where everybody sat at the table and everybody was an equal at that table. Everybody had a vote. Everybody had a voice. No one individual was neglected. We are a very young association, very young. There's a lot that Jason and I are learning every day. I can show you my kitchen table right now. It's laid out with paperwork like you've never seen before. Just research and knowledge, and we're learning every day with our group some of the mistakes that we're making, and we're stepping up when accountability is needed, that we made a wrong turn laying out a foundation, or we put that cornerstone in the wrong place. We need to move it or adjust it. Some of our own members are catching us in what we're doing and saying, listen, we know that you really want to move this forward, but take your time, take a breath. They're catching a couple of some mistakes, and it's all an amazing thing because it's a learning process for Jason and I. Neither one of us have been in this position. We're truck drivers. Neither one of us ever imagined that we were going to be co-founders of the NADRA by any stretch of the imagination. But here we are. And the unity that we're spilling out to the American truck driver, the North American truck driver, has got the attention of Canada. It's got the attention of the United States. It's got the attention of Mexican drivers. We have a nation of drivers that are exploding to us going, yeah, we've been waiting for this. We have an explosion of drivers that are sitting there going, yeah, we've heard all this before. You're going to end up falling on your face or asking us for $1 million and disappearing. But what they don't understand is we are them. We sleep on those sides of the roads. Jason, myself, Charles, we're sleeping on the side of the roads wondering if we're going to be robbed or if we're even going to wake up in the morning. We're parked right behind you. We know how bad the rates are because we're out there moving freight for the same rates. We know how bad fuel is. We know what breakdowns are. We know what 2 months away from the family is because you're doing everything you can to take care of your family at home. We are the American truck driver. Those that are sitting on our council, that are sitting at that table, they are truck drivers. Every one of them is suffering. Every one of them is paying the price, and every one of them have stepped up and said it's about time that an organization like this has been built and can move forward. We're growing exponentially daily because people are starting to realize we are truck drivers. We're not just CEOs and VIPs looking to line our pockets. We are truck drivers, and we're fighting for the American truck driver.
And we love everything you are doing.
We're going to take just a quick break, guys. And when we come back, I want to talk to you guys about the 10,000 trucks to DC. And it's not what people think. It's a very cool idea. So stay tuned with us. We'll be right back with Charles, Jason, and Matt.
Hi, I'm Dr. Christopher Cortman. And now for the Mental Health Minute. I promised you in part one of this video that we talk a little bit more about enabling versus helping. Let's pretend that you have a son, and this son has a wife and 2 kids, and he's working 2 full-time jobs, and sometimes has a 3rd gig whenever he can. And you say to this son, I'd like to help you get in your first house. So I'll tell you what I'm going to do. I'm going to match every dollar you can come up with. And together we'll put a down payment for you on a new house. Are you helping or enabling? Most people would say helping. He's doing everything he possibly can. But you also have a daughter. She's in her 5th semester of college. She's a freshman. And she's kind of taking her sweet time dropping classes. And she's only compiled about 12 credits thus far. And she says, Daddy, the lease is up. I need you to sign for me again for this wonderful, plush apartment. Sounds like an opportunity to enable to me. Why? Because she's not doing everything she possibly can to help herself. That's probably where a parent has to step in and say, time to come home and let's go to community school or some kind of a change because I'm no longer willing to enable. In my book, Your Mind, an Owner's Manual for a Better Life, I wrote a little ditty on enabling, and it goes something like this. When you call him in sick, he's been drinking with Rick, that's enabling. When she's living for thrills, you've been paying her bills, that's enabling. I know what you're thinking, keep your day job, Cortman. But here's the thing. Help people as long as they're doing everything they can to help themselves. Otherwise, stay out of the way and let them do what they can to help themselves.
TNCRadio.live, your commercial driver navigation station.
It's Truckers Life Radio from TFC Global with your host, Ron Frazier. Monday nights, 9 p.m. Eastern Time. Here we're helping drivers as they travel life's highway. I love that. The spiritual side, drivers face a lot out on the road. Truckers Life Radio digs in on the spiritual and moral questions that drivers face on a daily basis. You don't want to miss it. Every Monday night at 9 p.m. Eastern.
Welcome back. You guys are listening to Taillights with the Baums. I am Angie.
And I am Larry, and we got some amazing guests today.
I think we're going to have to do a part 2 on this because this is a very interesting conversation. But I don't know who wants to handle this topic, but you guys have come up with an absolute genius idea. And when I say 10,000 trucks to Washington, D.C., I guarantee you the first thing people are thinking of is another convoy. And that is not at all what you guys are proposing. So I don't know who wants to tackle this, but this is an amazing idea.
It's brilliant.
You know, I'd love to take handle on this if you guys don't mind.
Come on, Matt. Come on.
Okay, 10,000 trucks to D.C. is nothing like anything that any truck driver has ever experienced or done before. The reason for 10,000 trucks to D.C. is because it's comical. At the same time as it's comical, which we all know a truck driver absolutely loves, is comedy. Not only is it comical, but it can make an impact statement. And to boot it, those 10,000 trucks or whatever trucks actually arrive in D.C., we're actually asking that those things be donated to Toys for Tots for the D.C. metro area, for the military families in that area. So it's actually an amazing idea.
So you're talking toy trucks, mailing toy trucks.
Yes. These are not full-grown trucks. We all know by now the failures of trucks going into D.C. Now, it's not that they didn't try. It's not that their heart wasn't in it. It's that a full-size rig, you can't put more than 50 of them in before Washington, D.C. perks up, and all of a sudden you have tanks sitting on the road.
Yes.
So what's the best way to do it? Well, what you do is you shrink them. You get miniature trucks. You go buy a Tonka truck. You go to Pilot or Flying J or TA or Petro and go pick up one of those toy trucks that are there. Go get a Matchbox truck from Walmart. It doesn't have to be very big, and you ain't going to spend a lot of money. But you take those trucks and you mark them. You take a sticky note. It's very simple. You take a sticky note. You put it right on the package. And basically your statement is whatever it is that you're standing for. Broker transparency, no to AB5, any number of things, no to speed limiters. You're going to put that sticky note right on that package, and you're going to box it up, and you're going to send it to the Department of Transportation, and you're going to send it personally to the Secretary of the Department of Transportation. And we have that address for you. I believe I wrote it down for, hold on one second, let me get it for you. Sorry about that, guys. It's actually going to go to the U.S. Department of Transportation, 1200 New Jersey Avenue Southeast, Washington, D.C., 20590. Now, y'all may, there's a lot of truck drivers that say, well, this ain't going to make a difference. They're all going to end up in the trash. Well, not if there's a news bulletin or a heads up to all the news stations in Washington, D.C. on December 1st stating you might want to go take a look at the local post office and what's coming into the Department of Transportation. That will give them a little bit of heads up. Now, positivity, fun, unity is what we're all about. And that is going to give truck drivers all across North America something to talk about, something to laugh about, share a meal over. How many did you send? Well, I sent 10. I sent 7. This is going to be funny. You know, and we're doing it so that unity is what we're looking for. That's the baseline behind the 10,000 trucks to DC. It's about unity. It's about positivity. Yeah, it's not going to make the impact 10,000 trucks rolling into DC is going to be, but it's going to make a peaceful impact and an impact nonetheless. And it's going to give the truck drivers out here a chance to speak their mind, show a little initiative, unify behind. And we're asking, don't send them until December 1st to the 4th. The reason being, if you send them early, you're going to give them all a heads up. You send them late, they're going to get there late and probably end up either in a warehouse or a trash bin or whatever they're going to end up. If you send them between December 1st and December 4th, right around December 6th, there ought to be about 20 trucks between UPS and FedEx, all parked outside the Department of Transportation's doorstep, delivering thousands of toy trucks. And I think it's just going to be fun. I think it's going to be a blast. And it is the first thing that the NADRA is putting together to bring about unity, bring about a little bit of fun, and at the same time make an impactful statement that, you thought you had us divided. Think again. We're not as divided as you think now.
Now, Matt,
Angie, you just to add to what Matt said, you Angie, you know enough about the system. We talked about it earlier. Every one of those toy trucks has to be logged in. So when we or you or anybody mails one of those toy trucks to the Department of Transportation to Pete Buttigieg, guess what? His staff has to log that package in. So there'll be a record of what's going on. They won't be able, it won't get swept under the rug. The toys won't get thrown away, because anything that comes to a department head has to be logged, right? He's a cabinet member. Anything that comes into his office, not to mention, can you imagine being Pete Buttigieg and tripping all over boxes of toy trucks in the lobby? I mean, I've been inside that building. It's not that big. It's not that big up there.
You want to put a post-it on there for Toys for Tots. I think that's a great deal, and I hope it makes a million minis.
Well, and that's the thing. You're going to add an extra sticky note. Each truck that's sent in will have to have that sticky note added to it. Please, if you're going to send a truck, make sure that you add another note to it that says, please donate to Toys for Tots in the D.C. metro area or to the U.S. military. Make sure that that's on every single truck that you send to them.
Also, can I add to that?
Absolutely. Go ahead, Jason.
We're just asking, just out of safety, that if there is such a thing as clear wrapping paper, wrap it in clear wrapping paper so they don't think that we're sending other things to DC. They can clearly see that it's a toy, and how skeptical the government can be. So wrap it in clear paper, attach your sticky note to the box. There'll be a shipping address on there in the whole bank. They'll know that it's mail, but again, just so that the skeptics and they're not thinking we're sending them pipe bombs or anything like that, we're asking that you wrap it in something clear that they can visibly see what's going on.
And be polite. Be polite.
Yes.
I don't mean to cut you off, sweet. Be polite. We don't need any, FJB on these things. We don't need anything political. This is about 100% about unity and trucking. This has to be a trucking issue. Don't use personal vendettas. Don't, no matter what your circumstance or what you feel about the government, leave that out of it. This is strictly trucking. We are doing everything we're doing it fun, polite, but impactful. Have some fun with it. You want more truck parking, use that as your note. Keep it polite, keep it within the trucking industry. The NADRA are the ones that are promoting this. We do not want 15,000 military standing outside our doors going, we got some pretty skeptical patches. No, we're trying to keep this polite and respectful.
I did want to also mention that so many of us as truckers throughout the year while we're fueling, we're accumulating all those points. And this is the holiday season where we start to see all those trucks in the truck stops that you guys could use your points. You don't have to pay a dime for them. Pick up those trucks, wrap them up, and send them in, and it won't cost you anything but the shipping cost.
Exactly. Have some fun. I don't know about anybody else, but I can't wait to bump into truck drivers out here, sit down, and I'm the guy that's going to shake your hand and want to sit down and have a meal with you. I can't wait to bump into some of these people, the men and women out here on the road, and hear, I sent 8 trucks. I sent 4. This is going to be hilarious. It is something for everybody to really be able to smile about, because now they realize that we're not as separated as we are. They have separated us, like Charles was saying earlier, by trucks and makes and models of what we drive, who we are as individuals, the color of our skin, the race, ethnic backgrounds. And they're about to get a wake-up call that we're all starting to band together, and your hate and division and separatism is no longer valid anymore. There's a group out here.
You don't have to wait to run into us. We'll let you know right now. We are.
Yeah, we're
Well,
done.
You know what else? What else is cool? You don't have to be a truck driver to help us.
No, ma'am.
Help
No,
the kids,
sir.
right? Because guess what? When you talk about an issue like truck parking, that affects communities. It affects the motoring public. The DOT and the FMCSA constantly say that truck parking is a safety concern, right?
Yes.
And it is. So if you're a motorist out there and you wonder why there's 15, 17, 18, 300 trucks on the shoulder of the highway coming out of the rest area, it's because they don't have any place to park to lay their head to get the rest that the government says they have to get, or they get a fine, or they can lose their licenses, or their companies can be shut down because they're in violation, right? Because when that 14-hour clock is up, they got to stop. So, everything, if you can't look around your home, your business, anywhere, everything you see, a truck touched it. And these men and women are the people that make it happen, right? So if you support that, buy a toy truck.
Well, and you have a lot of truckers' families out here too: fathers, sons, daughters, wives, fiancés, girlfriends, husbands, boyfriends. They're all supporting their truck driver out here. It's not hard to think that we could, this 10,000 trucks can grow into, 100,000, 500,000, a million toy trucks that show up. And
That would be
if you're not,
awesome.
even if you don't think about
It's break time.
We're going to take just a quick break, guys. I want to remind everybody, please, to visit the Facebook group, NADRA on Facebook, also on Twitter. We're going to be back in just a few minutes. And when we come back, we're going to talk about some of the tough subjects you guys want to tackle over the next year. So be sure to listen to Taillights with the Baums. We'll be back in just a few minutes.
As a professional driver, the engineers at Front Lane know that you remain focused on the road regardless of weather and traffic conditions. That's not always true of the drivers behind you. Every 9 minutes, another commercial vehicle is rear-ended by a driver failing to control their speed. And guess who gets the blame? When you have to brake quickly, Tailbone illuminates a series of bright red LED lights that allow the driver behind you to react up to 50% faster. Using amazing accelerometer technology and a battery that will last for years, Tailbone meets the standard set by the NHTSA and the FMCSA. Learn more by visiting www.frontlane.com/tailbone. That's www.frontlane.com/tailbone. Approved in all 50 states. It's Tailbone by Front Lane.
CDL Permit Test Study Tips for Truck Drivers. The CDL Permit Test is one of the most important tests you'll take in your trucking career. Drivers must pass the test to practice driving a semi-truck, bus, or any other vehicle that's over 26,000 pounds. Like any test, you need to study and take the necessary steps to get prepared. The CDL Permit Test covers a lot of information. Studying the entire 180-page CDL manual can be overwhelming and exhausting. Luckily, we have some CDL Permit Test study tips to help make the studying for the exam much less stressful. What is the CDL Permit Test? Just like you have to have a permit before obtaining a regular driver's license, you need to get a Commercial Learner's Permit, a CLP, before you can earn your CDL. A CLP allows you to operate a commercial motor vehicle while under the supervision of a valid CDL holder. To get a CLP, you must first pass the CLP test. The CLP test is a 100-question written exam divided up into 3 sections: general knowledge, air brakes, and combination vehicles. CDL Permit Test Study Tips. The CDL permit covers a lot of information. Typically, a state CDL manual is over 180 pages long. If you want to pass, you'll need to allow yourself plenty of time to study and prepare. Trying to cram all the study material in a couple of days before the exam will not give you the best results. We suggest studying a little bit each day when you're alert and able to retain as much information as possible. Get your state's CDL handbook. Each state has its own CDL handbook that has answers to questions that are found on the CDL permit test. It's important to have the most up-to-date version of the handbook. Find out what to study. So you have your state's CDL handbook. Now it's time to study. The key to studying for the CDL permit test is to study smart, not hard. Finding out what is exactly on the exam is one way of studying smart. Take a practice test. Practice tests are a great way to show what you know and what you need to be studying. Also, taking a practice test can make you feel more familiar and confident, which will help you reduce anxiety on the day of the CDL permit test. In conclusion, studying for the CDL permit test may seem overwhelming at first, but establishing a good study routine will help you get prepared and reduce stress. Remember, know what's on the test. Focus on topics you're weak on, take a practice test, and have fun.
TNCRadio.live, your commercial driver navigation station.
Catch Landline Now every night at 11 p.m. Eastern Time, along with an encore presentation weekdays at noon, right here on TNCRadio.live.
Welcome back into Taillights with the Baums. I want to say hello to the following states that have joined just in the last few minutes: Michigan, Colorado, Texas, Utah, North Carolina, Illinois, Georgia, Missouri, Iowa, and Indiana, all having joined in just the last few minutes. Welcome to all of you into the program. Glad to have you here with us.
Thank you so much, and welcome back to Taillights with the Baums. I did want to say right at the start of this segment that we are going to have these gentlemen back next Wednesday because we've got a lot to talk about, and 1 hour is just not enough time. So I did want to give you guys all a chance to kind of mention where everybody can find you guys, because you guys are all pretty prevalent on TikTok. So Charles, if you want to go first, and then maybe Jason and Matt, and just kind of give everybody your social media information.
It's just Charles Claiborne, Claburn. That's my handle. I'm the guy with the no speed limiter banner in his picture.
Jason, you want to tell me yours?
I'm Jason Vin 2021. That's my real name. I'm not hiding behind a handle or anything. I got a picture of a red Peterbilt on mine. And I'd like to take this opportunity to let everybody know that with our social media following, just on TikTok alone, we're well over 750,000 people amongst all the people on our team. And I'd like to personally invite both Larry and Angie to join our team tonight.
I would love to be knighted by you.
Yes, we'll be happy to join the roundtable.
Awesome.
Thank you so much for the invite.
Yes, thank you. We are honored to be part of it.
It'd be a pleasure to have you.
Matt, you want to tell everybody, and I do want to tell everybody before you give your handle, Matt, you do have 2 videos that you just put up on TikTok that shows everybody.
Very good ones.
Yes, very good ones that show everybody how to do the 10,000 trucks for DC. He even has the address right there for you guys. 2 awesome videos. But what is your TikTok handle?
You can find me at Trucking Matt at Trucking Matt 74.2. My name and birthday, you can't really miss it. But yes, there's 2 videos up. I had a little bit of fun with it. Actually, I think that was the most enjoyable video I've ever done. But it'll show you step by step exactly what to do, how to do it. And like you said, the address is right there.
Absolutely. And we want to remind everybody one more time before we forget that you can follow them on their TikTok handles, but you can also follow them at NADRA on Facebook and also on TikTok. So please be sure to check this out. And again, we're going to have them back on here next Wednesday because we got a lot more to talk about in an hour. It's just not enough time to do that. But I did want to give you guys kind of a chance, about 6 minutes here, to talk about what are some of the topics that you guys are kind of wanting to tackle or to try to make a difference in.
That's all you, Charles.
First and foremost is the speed limiter issue, okay? And this is where we stand on this. The inability to accelerate or not accelerate fully places a driver in a less than safe situation because we no longer have one of the tools that's required for us to drive properly, right? Speed limiters are going to prevent us from being able to get out of the way, to safely pass a vehicle, to safely change lanes, to allow ramp traffic to get on and off. Speed limiters, it can't end well, okay? You're going to govern trucks. We don't know what they're going to govern at, but what the Transportation Alliance and the safety organizations want is 65, right? I don't care if you govern these trucks at 65 or 68. Doesn't matter. Drivers will run against the governor. Why? Because of a 14-hour rule, because of a continuous clock. The pressure is there. So they're not going to make it safer. Speed limits, split speed limits, we've proven over and over again, they are unsafe. Many states had them and got rid of them. So speed limiters is first and foremost on our agenda. It's unsafe. It's not going to work. Just like their magic Keebler elf, we're going to save 26 lives a year with an ELD. That didn't work out so well for them and didn't age well. So speed limiters, number one priority. Number two, truck parking, right? They kept promises. They're going to put money in the budget. We're going to do something. MAP 21 and Jason's Law paved the way for that. There was supposed to be money set aside. It never happened. We never got the truck parking. And again, right from the DOT and the FMCSA, their own words, truck parking is a safety concern and a safety issue. So speed limiters, truck parking, broker transparency. Everybody has a different view on 373.1. Some people think that we shouldn't ask those questions. It's up for debate. So, but we're gonna tackle it. These are three of the main issues, but there are dozens of others. Every time we turn around, there's going to be another regulation. Why? Because they want to regulate safety. Safety and training is the last and final issue we'd like to tackle, because all of these issues that we face in trucking, from accidents to whatever, turnover, it's because the drivers are unprepared. Trucking schools don't teach these kids to be truck drivers. A trucking school only trains these kids to pass the test. It's then up to the companies to train these kids, and they shirk the responsibility constantly. So these are the issues we want to tackle, and there are many more. But right now, we've got to deal with the speed limiters and truck parking. These are both major issues. Right, Angie?
Absolutely. Well, we're going to get ready to close the show, guys, but I did want to just first of all, thank you guys. You guys were awesome.
Amazing.
We enjoyed it.
Thank you. Thank you. Thank you. Thank